Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. What does it take to make a legendary game? Well, according to Ken Levine, not artificial intelligence. That's right. He's given a couple of interviews out there, guys, where he's actually made it very clear that he is not using at all AI for his game. Now, I've been following this project for a long time, and let me tell you why. He's one of my favorite video game creators, one of the very few people in the industry that I consider a true artist, a true craftsman of video games. And he hasn't made one for a while. And he hasn't made it for a couple of reasons, so I'll just tell you a couple of things that he said in the past, just so I can put you in the right frame of mind of where he's coming from with his game. After his last outing with Bioshock, he was really in a dark place, overstressed. His personal life was being affected by all the pressure of delivering a game on time, and he just didn't want to be in that type of situation anymore. He wanted to be creative, but without the pressure, basically. So in this project, right, that he's been working on, Judas, he took a different approach. He told the studio, hey, listen, this is going to take a longer time. It's going to take a longer time, but we're going to use a smaller staff in order to keep the budget reasonable, right? So he's been working on this game for a very long time, and he really wanted to make a handcrafted story. The reason this game is taking a long time is because it really is an engaging handcrafted story, according to him, that changes based on your interactions with every character, right? And that is really something to look forward to. Let me tell you, I look forward to it. After all the slop that's being served over the last, 4 years probably, where, you have these scripts for video games that are just, it looks like they're written by somebody who got a C in college, who doesn't speak English as their native language, like me. These scripts are horrible. The interactions with the NPCs are horrible. There's the dialogue is just lacking, not in all games, but in a lot of games. And now that they're using AI, everything's looking uniform. The whole industry adopts one way of making video games, and everybody else follows because it's the cheapest way of making video games. Now, in his own words, his own studio uses AI for certain things, not on his game, but for other things, right? Like Story Games uses AI for various behind-the-scenes tasks, for example, like scanning and clearing bugs, analysis of databases, right? But this is what he says. What AI can't do, according to Levine, is tell me a really compelling story that has a 3-act structure or even tell me multiple scenes, right? And Levine states that Ghost Story Games has not used any generative AI in the development of the product, which is great, right? He respects AI, but he knows that it has its limitations, right? This is something completely different that we're seeing in industry, and that's why I'm so interested in this product, along with being an admirer of his prior work. And by looking, right, at what I'm seeing, I see a lot of signatures of other games that he's worked on. Whether it's System Shock or Bioshock, it's there. Those signatures are there, but he's trying to evolve from that. Now, how has he grown as a creator from those times in Bioshocks where he was stressed to now having a better work-life environment where he's actually taken the time to develop his craft? Because that's really the strong point of his games. It really is the story. It really is those branching choices that you have. The story arcs differ depending what you're doing, right? That's the signature. And in this one, he wants to take it to a whole nother level. So in a time of mediocrity throughout the industry, where people are just trying to make money, where mobile games have really destroyed the industry because they're so cheap to make and make so much money, right? He's trying to come up with something that's completely against the grain. And let me tell you, I'm all for that. If you come from the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh generation of games where storytelling had to be on point for great games because the graphics weren't there. So you had to have great scripts. You had to have great dialogue. You had to have great words on the screen. The story had to bring you in. Let me tell you something, guys. When you have a good story, you never think the game is too long. People are saying games are too long now. I disagree. I think that we have mediocre games that are too long. If you're watching a TV show in another media, for example, and you really like the characters and you like the storyline, you stick with that show, whether it's 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Some shows last 10 seasons because it keeps you engaged. Of course, video games is a little bit different, but what I'm saying is you could have a longer game if the quality is there. You could have a longer game if you have better character development. You could have a longer game if you have better interactions with NPCs that are not predictable, right? Where you can see that people working on the game actually care about making a good product rather than just making money, rather than just making a paycheck, right? It takes that extra effort. It takes that extra level. You know, it doesn't matter if you're making hamburgers, video games, or whatever you do for work. If you go beyond just the necessary, people can tell. The quality in your work will show. This is why I'm so eagerly awaiting this game, because I really want to see something different, right? Every year, there's a few games that stand out, right? Every year, there's a few games that do it just a little bit different. But every year, we see that it's less and less of those games. It's just less. It's not like it used to be before, where you could have multiple experiences like this from one year to another. Now, there's so few and far between, and a lot of people are starving for this kind of storytelling, for this kind of craftsmanship, for this type of dedication from a video game creator who actually is dedicated to his craft, who wants to tell a great story, who's thinking about the player, because he is a player. He plays video games. So it's a different perspective, right? It's a different perspective of all the people that you see on Twitter saying, I work at this video game company and I hate gamers. That's not Levine. He's one of us. And that is why I believe this game is going to be great. Now, I hope it doesn't disappoint. This is really what I'm hoping for, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. Guys, if you're a member, you're going to get this early, right? I also put an update on my health, on my voice. As you can hear, it's better. I tell you what I did for it. I'm hoping, guys, to get stateside, and I'm really feeling excited about these voice treatments. You can listen to my voice and how much better it sounds. And I hope that I'm able to do more constant content for the channel. Hopefully even go live at some point, but we'll take it one day at a time. But I'm sure I'm optimistic, not only for this game, but for 2025. All right, humans, hello from the Philippines. I wish you the best out there, wherever you're at. I hope you're staying blessed. Remember, never be afraid to be happy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.